What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Muffins with Morgan. This is our 10th episode of this season that we have, and this is our last episode of our season. And then we're going into break. I'm going into break. There's some I guess in the next couple of weeks, I'm actually at home, but I'm gonna go for some travel, doing some stuff, and taking some time to come back with even better content. But again, taking the time to chill out. But welcome everybody to the show. As you're coming in, if you have not been in here before, let us know where are you tuning in from. Would love to hear where everyone's at in the world and what's going on. We'll give it a minute as people trickle in. But yeah, y'all, I got a pretty good muffin today. It's a blueberry lemon muffin. Blueberry lemon muffin. So I'm actually very excited about this. But yeah, we'll let people trickle in. Let us know they're tuning in from here on this Friday. Hope you all having a really blessed Friday and really enjoying it. I am so far. I got my pickleball lesson in the morning, so I'm absolutely buzzing about it. So I cannot complain. I'm doing great. But we're gonna dig in. So as we got people coming in, again, let us know you're tuning in from. What are we talking about today? So today we are talking about Sales Navigator. This has been a topic that people have been asking for. So we're going to take the time to just go through some things that I've seen to be very, very helpful for the people that I work with across the board. And this also will help you all out as well. So, what I'm going to do is real quick, I want to make sure that we're speaking to everybody in the room. I just launched up a poll. What's your role? Where you're at today? Obviously, we want to speak directly to you across the board as you're in this room. So if y'all can fill that out, that'd be great. But yeah, we're really just going to drill into how can you think about Sales Navigator? How can you go about it? How can you make sure you can take action on those things? There is a lot that I've learned along the way around what is Sales Navigator and obviously what it is not, right? At the end of the day. So that's what we're really going to drill into. That's what we're going to talk about today. So again, appreciate everybody tuning in and hopping on. So with that being said, let's dive into what we're going to be talking about. I'll share my screen real quick. How to use Sales Navigator to book an extra meeting. That's what we're talking about. So it's just me today holding it down. If you've not interacted with my content before, if you don't know who I am, my name is Morgan Ingram. I've been in the top of funnel outbound game for the past decade. I started off as an SDR. I've been an SDR manager. I've been a full sales cycle rep. So I've seen all different paths and access points and how to book meetings and generate quality pipeline. And throughout that journey, I was able to work with John Barrows. I was on his team for about 3.5 years. And then I took all the things that I learned from him to start my own business called AMP Social. And our focus at AMP Social is to make sellers magnetic, intuitive, and consistent in what they do so that they're able to be more human in the way they approach their outbound, which is what you learn if you come to Muffins Morgan. That's our goal. And across the clients we've worked with, we've been able to generate over around $30 million in pipeline and still counting as we work with clients. So what we're going to talk about today in these next 40 minutes is what is the component of Sales Navigator that we walk clients through so that you can see a component of how we go about this. So as we go through this, if you have questions, obviously feel free to drop those in the chat. We got a very healthy room of BDRs, AEs, and managers and directors in the room and founders. So this is a really healthy mix we have across the board. I'm going to go through these filters and then I'm obviously going to flip it back to y'all to see, hey, like, is this helpful? Where you're at and things of that nature. So with that being said, let's drill into Sales Navigator. Now, I'm going to flip it to y'all real quick. And I got a question, which is when it comes to Sales Navigator, how would you rate yourself on a scale to 1 to 5? One being you're a novice and you don't really know that much about it, and 5 being you're absolutely elite, like you're the greatest Sales Navigator person that has walked the earth. So 1 is I'm not good at it at all. I literally just got the tool yesterday. And then 5 is I'm phenomenal and I'm elite. So we got 2.5, we got 2.5s, threes, we got 2.75s, we got twos. Okay, so within this, as we go about this today, I'm going to show three main filters that I believe that will help you be successful. And then I'll show some bonus things that clients have been leveraging to get a lot of good results across the board, right? So, and again, if you have anything that you have questions on, drop it in the chat, right? And let us know. So the first thing I want to talk about is this one has been I'd say a fan favorite, and I'll explain why here in a minute. So for those of you in this room that are probably targeting enterprise or maybe strategic accounts, this is a really good angle to take. So you go to the lead filters, you have the company, you have buyer intent, you have best path in, recent updates, role. You're going to go to role and you're going to go down to years in current position and you're going to click less than 1 year. Now, why is that beneficial? So let's say that I was going after We'll use we'll use Amazon because they're pretty big. So Amazon. And I was like, hey, I want to go after people, like we sell a coaching program. So I want to go after sales leaders. And I want to narrow this down to this. So you'll see right here, it's pretty based on what I just did, right? Amazon's a massive company. They have over 560,000 employees. And what I'm looking for is how can I find people who have been in their role less than 1 year, but I'm finding people who maybe been at the company for longer. So here's a really good example. If we drill into Jess, she's been at this company for 4 years, right? So that means that she probably has really good relationships. She probably knows people. However, we want to lean on the psychology of people. And so you look right here, 9 months into the role. Now what we can do is based on it being 9 months in the role, there probably is a layer or a level of psychological excitement, right? To actually do something different. So that's like what's happening there. So when you're looking at these accounts for everybody here, depending on what you're doing, you want to drill into, all right, I got all this stuff going on, all these people I can go after in a massive Amazon account. But what I'm looking to do is effectively find people that are in this sweet spot of like 6 months. What do you got? 6 months, you got 9 months, you got 3 months here. This is a good one out of 7 years. Now, again, these jobs and titles might not be the right people, but I'm just showing you the premise point. So this is how you can find people that are effectively low-hanging fruit to go out and prospect and engage with. I will tell you this is heavily underrated, and this is a great way to stand out and reach out to those people. So again, if you're not already tapping into this, like this is something 100% I would tap into because ultimately this is how you're going to be able to stand out, right? You really want to focus on can we look at years in less than one? Can we look at years in current position, less than 1 year? Can we look at the seniority level? Can we look at the functions? And then now we're able to tap in. So again, we did it for Amazon. If we pick another big one like a Salesforce, if I could type, oh, there we go. Salesforce, boom. So I can then tap in, see what's going on. All right, cool. This is a good example. Evan, 3 months in role, 6 years at the company, right? I can tap in and reach out if that makes sense. So this is something I want y'all to think about is yeah, we got to go after these massive accounts and things of that nature, but there's low-hanging fruit in these accounts that we can go after and get in front of them, right? And see, okay, is there an opportunity to get a layer or a level of a meeting, right? So that's like an example of how you could go about it, right? So that's like filter number one that we're going to dive into, right? So just keep that in mind as we go through this. Like there's different ones. I think that one's a massive one that people sleep on. Here's another one. Referrals. How many of you all ask for referrals? Like yes or no in the chat. Like how many of you are asking for referrals on a consistent basis? Not like you do it once a day, but like on a consistent basis, you are asking for referrals. And then we're gonna go into yes, okay. Some people we got the yes trains, maybe not. This is another angle that I think a lot of people are not taking advantage of. And so we're going to talk about it. So when we think about how we go about messaging people and things of that nature, if you're working in a company, these are three paths you can take to get referrals. So number one is your execs can help you get referrals, your customers can help you get referrals, and your partners can help you get referrals, right? So internal execs, customers, and partners. So as you see right here with connections of, I'm just going to use an example of how you can do this. So let's say right now, again, you're an SDR AE or you're a sales leader on this call today, and you're like, okay, we're doing cold outbound, but it's not hitting. Like we're not getting the results that we're looking for. Well, okay, here's an angle that you can take to get in front of those people. So what I would do here is we'll use Bobby as an example. So let's say Bobby is your exec. So your VP of sales, your CMO, your VP of marketing, whatever it is. Take this example, this connections of, and let's go find people to get referrals for. So you can do this actually two ways. So one is when you ask for a referral, most of the time y'all know this is like you ask for someone referral and like they don't do anything. They're like, yeah, I don't know these people. It's overwhelming, right? And then they don't know where to go. And so based on that, right, what you could do is this. So I have this connections of, again, you have to be connected to the person in order to do this. So you're here and we're going to look up where Bobby used to work. So I'm just going to pull up another window real quick and I'll show you why you want to think about it this way. So what a Bobby. Cool. All right. So he worked at Bandwidth, he worked at Pindo, he worked at Dude Solutions. So what I'm going to do is Bandwidth, Dude Solutions, and Pindo. So this is like a surefire way to get in front of someone you're looking for. I just put in all the past companies that he used to work at, which means that these people also used to maybe work with him. So there's a tighter connection to ask for the referral. So again, you can do this with customers you're connected with, partners you're connected with, and internal executives you're connected with. So you kind of see how this all pans out. So now that I have these things in play, I then can narrow down by sales and make this easy. And I might be like, all right, let me do it by da, 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 da. Let me turn this down. So, okay, I got 35. So these people, right, used to work at the company that Bobby's at. So there's a high likelihood when I ask for, hey, do you know this person? It's going to be, again, very likely that they're going to be willing to be like, yeah, sure, I'm willing to intro you. So again, I'm looking through these individuals, I'm looking through these people to see who I can ask for a level of a referral based on the connection. This is something that people miss out a ton. So if you're not tapping into this, you should definitely be tapping into this because this is like the best way to address low hanging fruit, right? Because if I have somebody that I'm connected with and I can see that they are connected to people that previously used to work somewhere and I could reach out to them, I'm going to have a way better time, right, to get meetings and conversations going above anything else, right? So this is just something to take advantage of. If you're not, I've had a lot of people be like, you know what? At the end of the day, if they really focus and they really lock in on doing this exercise, they end up building more overall pipeline in the long term. This is just what I've seen. So again, you all could in here could also let me know what you see it on your side. But this is a massive way to break through accounts. I cannot stress this enough because a lot of people don't do this. Go connect with all your executives. Again, SDRAE doesn't really matter. Connect with every single executive you have, build that connection with them, and you progress from there. So that's what you want to think about, which is we have these executives, we have different customers. Are we consistently asking for the referrals and do we have a system to do so? This system you can build yourself because if we dive into this even deeper, you'll see I could actually save the search, right? So you'll see here, and I could be like, referrals from Bobby, and now it's saved. And so I can always go back here. All right. I can always tap into this. So again, we had two people say yes, assuming other people you're maybe not using referrals. This is the way to do it. Tap into your executives, connect with all of them if you can, tap into customers, and do this consistently. We had someone that I recently worked with, they booked 5 meetings just off of this alone within 14 days, right? Like this is the move that they took. And they were able to take advantage of this and actually reach out to the right people overall. So this is just something that you could pay attention to, you could take access on. Again, I'm saying this a lot because it does move the needle and it is very helpful for people. So take advantage of this if you're not. And the messaging around this, da, 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 da. Brian, your question is, do you see it more advantageous to use your company's execs to ask for a referral or an existing customer's connections for a referral? Uh, but it all depends on the relationship at the end of the day. I don't think it's a one is better than the other. I probably would say that the customer is probably the best because it's coming from the customer voice. So if you can do that, that's probably the best. Normally in that scenario, you're going to want to ask customer success if that's okay. At the end of the day, like I think most AEs or sales leaders will be like, "Hey, this is what we're looking to do," and normally they're cool with that as long as you position it the right way. But yeah, I would go number one. My main focus would be customers, but I know that can be hit or miss depending on the org. Then we're looking at the execs, and then we're looking at partners because partners can be hit or miss depending on your business and what you're looking to do. And some people don't have partnerships, so it kind of doesn't pan out. So yeah, I would literally create a list of those people and go from there, which kind of leads to my next point. I've said this a lot and I will keep saying it because a lot of people don't really tap into this. I'm using Core right now. So I'm on the Core license. So the main thing here is going back to Brian's point and something again I'm seeing as a way to create a pipeline flywheel of meetings that consistently will come your way is creating a list of clients that you've worked with. And so for everybody here, this is the best way to break this down. So if you're an account executive on the call, which we have some people that are AEs, if you have not done this already, I would tell you to build a list of every single person that you've worked with directly. So any director, manager, VP, it doesn't really matter. I would tap into that. And the reason for that is I'll show it in a minute, but that's like the step you want to take. Then for my SDRs on the call, or if you lead an SDR team or an AE team, it doesn't really matter. I would create a list of every single meeting that you've ever booked in your entire career. Because this not only helps you right now, because if they move companies, you could book a meeting. This also helps you in the future as you grow and advance your career, right? So that's what we really want to focus on here and why I'm encouraging you to build this list. We got clients that you've worked with, and we have clients. You can even add clients that you've lost deals with as well. Because think about it. If you've lost a deal with a client, and this is something that I'm going to go build now, I'm going to use Claude to help me build this. But think of every single client that you've lost or every single potential client you could have had. So all the deals you lost as an AE or sales leaders, think about all the deals that your team loses within the month. What if you had everybody build a list of every single person that they lost a deal with, and now you can see if they move to a new company? Sometimes people don't want to do the offer because the company they're currently at, it's it's not, it's not a good place for them to bring you in. So these are the reasons for these lists, and I'm going through this because this is low-hanging fruit that most people don't do. So again, SDRs, you're creating a list of every single meeting that you've booked. You could also create a list of every single meeting that's ghosted you. For AEs, create a list of every single deal that's been closed, and you're going to create a list of every single person that you lost a deal with. And so here's why. So if we click into this list, there's three core benefits of this. Number one is I have everybody in one place, right? I have everybody in one place. I can tap in, boom, see what's going on, right? I can see everything that's happening, right? So that's like number one. Number two is if someone has changed jobs, I can see it. So I already have been locked in with this because what's going on here? Yeah. I reached out to Tony the other day. This is an opportunity that I'm about to have here. We had a conversation. I actually just saw this one, so I'm probably going to reach out. I'm probably going to reach out on this one, right? I'm going to probably reach out here too. So there's a lot of movement that's happening, and I can click in and see, okay, what exactly is going on, right? And have these conversations with these people, right? I'm just staying locked in because this is the digital Rolodex, right? And the third thing is if you want to stay top of mind with people, it also shows you that these people have posted in the last 30 days. So if what that does is you could actually click in here and it will show you what they actually have posted and you can tap in if that makes sense, right? So this is the benefit of creating this list. And as you see, I'm always, right, trying to make sure that I'm tapping in across the board and making sure that it's, doing what I need to do. So that's an example there. Is anyone else having an echo voice? Mohammed said there is one. So if that's the case, I can fix it. But if it's not, then we can figure that out. But that's the play there. Let's go into like some other questions in here. So how do you export the list for offline use? Email marketing. I think you said you don't do cold email marketing. No, not per se, not as much. But what I would recommend is, I mean, it's tough, right? Hmm, there's a lot of APIs within LinkedIn, so you can't do as much exporting unless you have like a certain license. Like if you had like an advanced one or a super advanced or whatever it's called, then you would be able technically to export things out and then go from there. So that would be your main angle, I guess you would take in this scenario. So I don't really have a good answer on like how to export the list for offline use per se. The only thing that I'd recommend you to do is you can export your connections and you could enrich that list to find emails. But for people that are like second degree, there really isn't a great workaround for that unless someone in the chat has something. I haven't seen anything that can do that to that level. So that'd be my case. Um, yeah, I would say I don't think that's even possible. I think you're literally your only workaround is you have to pull first degree connections, which you can do. Okay, curious how folks are using Claude in tandem with Sales Navigator. Um, I mean, again, not much you can do with the with the APIs. There's no connector, so you're pretty overall limited. I really just am using Sales Nav to find these filters, and then I'll use Claude to be like, can you create messaging off these filters? Like that's probably the closest example I have because I can't connect it, right? So there's not much I can really do at the end of the day. The only thing I can do really is base it off of can I create messaging off the filters that I have, right? Like that's probably the extent of where I would probably take in tandem with it. But I'm using Granola. Da, 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 da. I'm using Granola, Google Drive. I'm actually looking right now. I'll tell you. It's Granola, Google Drive, Gmail. I have an app called Skill Refinery, Slack, Asana. So those are my main ones that I use for cloud. But hard to do it in tandem with Sales Nav because you really can't pull anything. So you're just you're just kind of like there. But I use it more so for if I have these filters, then how would I create ongoing messaging from there? So like I'll just show you all an example. This is not something I've finished, but this is like again, I'm just showing you how to think about it. I'm not saying this is completed copy, so don't be like Morgan, I don't like this email. Like, no, that's not the point. I'm just showing you like an example. So what I'm doing is every single filter has a purpose. So for example, if we go here and look at less than 1 year and we look at someone who, let's go back to Salesforce, right? And we look at 4 months and 3 years in the company. So I'm having Claude be like, what would that look like if they were at this mark? Now, again, this needs to be adjusted, but the goal is that I'm creating an email like this. But the reason I create an email like this email has already been successful based on another practice that I did with another client here for an example. So this kind of brings it together actually. So how do you use Claude? Like the best way I think to use Claude is to find things that work and then leverage the things that work inside of Claude, and then Claude will be able to replicate that to reach out to more people. So this is what I coach people on. It's like it's not about going into AI and telling it to create something new because it will give you something pretty bad. You want it to base it off of something that already potentially and can be successful, and then you go from there, right? So this email is every single person that has used the product of this company, and this example is Churn Zero, every single person who has been at who's been at a previous company that is a current customer, a former champion, and has moved to a new company. So this rep created this template of an email, and this booked like a large percentage of his meetings, right? And so based on that, all I did was copy this example, and then I put it inside of Claude, and I was like, hey, Claude, like this already works, right? I basically took this email, it broke down the exact reasons on why this email is successful. And I said, what's the reusable structure? We found the new things it can use it for. And then now here it's creating new templates. So you have template number one, and then it's created this template. Template number two, it's created this template. And then template number Oh yeah, yeah. I told it to ask different questions. So now it created a different one. So this is like the new one. So if they're hiring a new SDR, I add in the SDRs that's there. I'm basically saying that means that you're building this. I'm not assuming. Here's what's being said. Here's the ramp time. So I'm playing a different game based on this. So this is like the way I'm thinking about it. Yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like I'm taking all the insights that I would find in Sales Nav and I'm creating campaign-based messaging on this and being like, can I do relevancy-based messaging at scale, which is what everyone is trying to find. My belief is that there isn't like personalization at scale because that's an oxymoron to a degree, but you can be relevant at scale. And I believe we're in a world more of relevance because nobody like believes in anything anymore. So like what I'm doing is I'm just saying, hey, how do I how do I take every single thing that I know to be true inside of Sales Nav and then correlate that to actual legitimate messaging that I can use it for? And this is what I did as an SDR. This is what I even do today. I find that the emails where it's just like, I know this is a problem on a consistent basis. I have a higher chance of winning than trying to, I don't know, Mozart. It's probably Picasso an email. I'd rather do that. So that's what I would say here across the board. Uh, Jesse, a couple things. I use Apollo, but then I also use Claude because I can validate emails based on the public emails that are out there for other people at the company, and then it can do a cross-reference and match and then create a potential email. So every single email at the end of the day, right, has a certain framework about it. It's either first name, last name, first letter, last name, whatever it is. So Claude can go find emails that are similar to that and then give you a guess if you cannot find it in your data source. So that's how I do it. I just make it pretty straightforward. I try not to make it complicated. Um, So yeah, that's what again, as y'all see what I'm doing here is I'm finding for each insight and data. Oh my gosh. Data and data. I can't say data and insights from LinkedIn Sales Nav. I'm creating that and then I'm creating a template off of this. So now I can have better messaging in what I do. So every single person here, if you were to ask yourself, what are the main 3 to 5 things that like if I were to email someone or I know these are trigger points, they're relevant, you need to create an email for it. This will make your life easier. So, because if we go here, right, I know if someone is hiring SDRs, it's going to hit. I know if they brought in a new enable person or leader, it's going to hit. I know if they're hiring a lot of AEs and they have to sell sort prospect, I know it's going to hit. I know these things are going to hit because that's what people bring me in for. So you need to have at least 3 to 5 of these, but have Claude just like create it for you. And that's what I did here. I don't know. I haven't tested this out at the scale of scales, but what I do know is that like if I do this, boom, we're good to go. So this is just the way to think about it and why Sales Navigator is so critical and so important. And my last filter I'll share here as well, because we talked about a lot of different things, is I think this one is underrated to a degree, but I think it's something to tap into. Posted on LinkedIn the last 30 days. Now, for everybody here, the thing that everybody needs to, you definitely want to focus on more of, um, is okay. I asked a question. How do you find the intent on looking for execs who are hiring AEs? Yeah, basically, there's two components here. You can literally just go into change jobs and let's just pick a company. I think they are. I looked at this the other day. And then I'll go here. Yeah, okay, cool. So wait, that's not right. But yeah, okay. This is actually a good example. So outbound SDR, SDR manager, outbound account executive, outbound. Okay, so what does this mean? That means that my assumption is, I'll tell you right now, if I taught this company, they probably have 70% inbound coming in right now across their entire organization. But now what's happening is board and everyone else is like, they need to go up market, they need to do more prospecting. And then also as well, that means that they are now being tasked to a number. If they're hiring an SDR manager, it means they're going to scale up their team. If they're hiring outbound account executives, that means that they're either full sales cycle or they need to own 20% of the number. I know this stuff already. And you can cross reference this. So if I were to go inside of Job Nimbus and have this do its thing, I can look and see. Da-da-da. I could check here. I can see everyone who started positions here, so I could do that. I could also look at account growth. Okay, nothing's there. But really, at the end of the day, if you really just want to do a further look, I'll just go look at the site. I mean, I'll pull up the site. I'll scroll down, go to careers, and they probably have openings for sales roles. Yep, SDR as well. They're hiring more SDRs, which means they're trying to build pipeline. So that's how I do it. I know if you're hiring these people, I know what's basically going on because the goal is like to connect the dots. And so with Sales Nav is like I can just connect the dots pretty quickly because I've gone through these cycles. Like I know what people are looking for. I know what they're trying to do. I know what they're trying to take advantage of. So to answer your question, that's how you find intent is knowing that. I know these execs are hiring these people because they have more pipeline to hit. And these people are going to have to ramp appropriately. And you can do that with every account too. It's going to tell you. And my last point is this also can tell you. So this is 0%, so it's not that high, but Some people, I know, I think they have a high one. If you go to Vanta, um, yeah, okay. But in the last 6 months, their job openings was 76% up for sales. But what's happening, I'll tell you right now, without even having to talk to anybody, they've decreased job openings by 10% in the sales company. Okay, that means that they probably overhired a little bit and they need to scale it back, which means that they need to update product. They're looking for a 50% increase in engineering in the past 3 months, and they're also looking 257% increase in IT. It means that they're focused on product, they're focused on infrastructure, and they reduced the sales team down so that they can increase the product, and then they'll probably hire more people in the next 3 months. I'll just tell you right now, if we came back in 3 months, they're going to hire more people. This is the point. The point is sales now just tells you what the business is doing, and so then you can make assumptions. I'm not sure, but I'm probably pretty close. So that's why, again, if we go back to my messaging here, it's just the way you have to phrase it. Hey, I'm not assuming there's a gap. I'm making an observation of something. I think there's a gap here. And then what are you doing? This messaging is how I think about things and getting people to reply or engage, whatever it is. I think this is happening. I don't know. And then based on that, I make a move. So let me show you like a live example because you'll be like, oh, like where does this play in the messaging? So this is a good example. So here we were connected. I don't know how I got connected, but that's not the point. If you look at my message here, I said browsing on Sales Nav, stalked a little bit, hired 7 regional directors, their AEs in the last 3 months. Is sales sourcing for those reps a big priority right now? And then he didn't reply. Then I followed back and asked for feedback. He said it is. I don't have budget. I said cool. We can follow up later. And then it led into reach back in October, November. Cool. Like this is why I use Sales Nav. I browsed on Sales Nav. I found this thing. I just said, is this something you're doing? It is. No budget. Cool. Whatever. Now we have a conversation moving forward. This is how you have to think about Sales Nav. It's like it just gives you all the insights you need, and then you could fire off. You could fire from there. So that's the way that I think about these things, and how you all can think about the same thing too, right? That's the main thing. So in this conversation today, those are the main highlights I wanted to share, right? Change jobs. We showed that example. That was kind of a bonus. Post it on LinkedIn. Definitely be using this because this is how you build your network. Send people blank connection requests in the evening time frame. You'll see a higher acceptance rate. And because you'll see a higher acceptance rate, right, at the end of the day, you're going to, right, get more people to engage with you. And when you have more people engage with you and build your network, you're going to get higher acceptance rates from the mutual connections. And then we talked about connections of if you're not running that play, 100% do that. And then as well, you're going to build this lead list we talked about, and then also the past jobs. So if I were coming out of this call today, and then we'll wrap up, and then we'll see if anyone has any questions. I saw some questions, so I'll answer them. I would tap into posts on LinkedIn the last 30 days. I would send out more blank invitations to get higher acceptance rates to increase your network. Then I would focus on if I'm going after big companies, who has been in the position less than 1 year? Let me prospect into those people. Let me start conversations. And I would build a lead list of people that you have closed and worked with, and also people as well that you have closed the deal, like lost the deal with, so that you can keep tabs on them. Those are the 3 things I would do coming out of this conversation when it comes to Sales Nav. Now, to answer the question as well, the reason for the blank connection request is because it's ambiguous. If you psychologically think about the platform itself, most people will send a note in the connection request. And because most people, when they send a note, it ends up being, let's say, cringe to a degree, or let's say cringe. Let's say cringe. Cringe is a good word because it's like cringe because like if you send someone a note, normally they get followed up immediately and get pitched. So that's uncomfortable. That's annoying. Nobody wants that, right? Like I don't think you want that either. So that's why people accept it more. That's my reasoning. But in doing these workshops, every time that I say do the blink connection request, it's increased the acceptance rate. So that's why I've been kind of beating the drum on it, saying like, hey, like do this now, before it's too late. Not too late. Like people are still gonna do it, but this is the way you want to think about it, right? So then to follow up on that, uh, posting. I would say it's truly an A/B test. I don't think there is even a right or wrong time to post at this point. The LinkedIn algorithm is so helter skelter, I think is the best way to put it, that I would just encourage you at the end of the day to focus on 3 posts a week, being extremely quality and locked in on that. And I would post between 8 to 11 local time. But if you were to post in the afternoons, I would do like 3:30 to 4:30 local time. How are you? Yes, I would focus your headline on keeping it super simple and super straightforward. Let me show you somebody who has gone through our training before. Oh, actually, this is actually a great example. Okay. So, Josh. Josh has books 80% of his meetings on LinkedIn. Now he's switched up his branding because he's doing more consulting, but he is an account executive and he books 80% of his meetings from LinkedIn, right? And he hit his annual number last year by June, and I think he's going to hit his number again, his whole annual number, I think, in the next month. So he's a good example that we can point to. So to answer your question, it's pretty clear what he's doing, right? This isn't confusing. Now, you can add your job title to in or not. I just don't think it's necessary. But you being an SDR AE is not going to book you more meetings. That's not going to move people, respectfully, of course, right? So what I would recommend you do is really lock into and focus on how to make it super clear. I'm helping Australia and New Zealand teams find the optimal answer with mathematical optimization. Cool. We know exactly what he's up to. So, Vikram, that's what I'd focus on there. Okay, cool. Anyone have any lasting questions? I'll go into what we got going on over here. But lasting questions, now is the time. Okay. You're welcome. All right, y'all. So I got something cool to announce y'all because I'm actually fired about this because I've been working on this since like late Feb, early March. So as of yesterday, we got a new site. I'm actually really excited about this. We got a new site. I've been building this for a while. I'm actually really excited about it. So in this new site, what are we talking about? So everything that I've walked you all through today, well, a component of it is what we do for sales teams. Now, if you're an individual contributor, uh, you obviously can bring this up to your leadership, but we mainly work with B2B sales teams and organizations. And so the cool thing is, we've been able to see some incredible opportunities with our program called Sales Team 6. And with one of our clients, as you can see right here, 45 days after, $21 million pipeline attributed to them within that 45 days. Walking through this Sales Navigator portion, we go through cold calling, we go through social selling, we go through video prospecting, we go through being more creative, how to sound like a human, not a robot. And then this is the results that we bring. Obviously, you can read what's going on here. So this has been awesome to do. It's a 4-month program, which we're diving into right now. And we are just obviously cranking. So you can see obviously everything that we've been working on. I'm just really excited to share this website. And as you see right here, it's a 4-month program we have here. We're doing a diagnostic. We're teaching people exactly, hey, this is how you get better at prospecting. Again, a snippet of what you learned today. And then we go into the coaching side of like actually getting people better at what they do. So, yeah, I've been really buzzing to create this website. We're live, we're here now. And then across the board, you can come check out the site. So, I'll drop the site in here. It has all the breakdown of what the program is, what the investment is, starting at 30 grand, as you see here. But yeah, if you're a sales leader and you're like, man, I need my outbound to be better. Like, I don't know what my team is doing. I need some help. This is what we're focusing on: getting people to get more responses, getting them to be more magnetic, intuitive, and consistent, and ultimately getting more meaningful pipeline across the board. So if you are a leader and you're like, man, I need to figure this out, come check out the site. We can talk. If you're an individual contributor and you're like, man, I need my team to get on this, like, this is good info, we can talk and we can go from there. So, for everybody else, if you have any further questions, now is the time. But that's what we're working on there. Again, we're excited to get this rolling even more off of this site we built because we got some pretty cool developments that are happening, and we're staying locked in. We're staying locked in. So, anybody have any lasting questions before we get out of here? If not, I will. This is rapid fire, so this is your last chance. If not, this is our last episode of the season. For everybody that has come to these, appreciate you hanging around, coming through, saying what's up, and also as well for everybody, we'll come back. Maybe and sometime soon with season two, we're gonna make some tweaks to bring even better guests and better content across the board. So we appreciate everybody along the way, and then. Yeah, Jeff, that was someone that I worked with. Bobby was someone that I worked with. So you're only going to put people in there that you've worked with. Cool. All right, y'all. Well, hope everyone has a blessed Friday and also Memorial Day weekend. Hope you all have a good weekend as well. And we'll see you all on the next one when we come back for season two. Cheers, everybody.